What's up guys, Luke here with another video. In today's video we're going to be following up with last night's first prize winner, Yuri Black. He won the 1,000 subscriber giveaway, which was $100, and I'm giving him a free 15-minute coaching call, and I'm actually going to be doing that coaching call live with him, and then it's going to be going up here on the YouTube channel, so that way all of you can get some free coaching as well. So hopefully some of his questions and the answers I give also apply to your area or your phone flipping situation as well. For those of you guys that don't know, we did a live video last night and I did a 1,000 subscriber giveaway. We gave away actually a few extra prizes. Yuri Black was the first prize winner with $100 and a 15-minute coaching call. Second prize winner was Jeff Russin, who won $25. And then the third prize winner was John Morehouse, who also won $25. However, he has not yet claimed his $25 prize. So tonight, I'm going to give one more chance. John Morehouse, if you are out there, claim your $25 prize. Drop a comment down below or message me on Facebook. If not, I'm going to do another small $25 giveaway, and somebody else will get the prize, being it's been forfeited and it has not been claimed. I want somebody out there to get it, but hopefully John Morehouse, hopefully you see this, or if anybody knows him, have him send me a message on Facebook so I can get his PayPal email and send him his $25 prize. So that being said, I'm going to do that coaching call. If you haven't yet, make sure you guys smash that like button, hit subscribe, and I will see you guys in the consultation call in the next video. All right, hey everybody, so this is Yuri Black. He was our 1,000th YouTube subscriber giveaway winner. I sent him $100 cash on PayPal, and here he is. This is our 15-minute coaching call. First off, do you think you're going to win?
No. Well, actually, I left a comment and I was like, I'm probably going to win. I saw it, but I was actually surprised when I did see that I won, so that was pretty cool.
Cool. Well, yeah, that's cool. $100, do whatever you want with it. Go blow it, invest it. It's yours. So that's pretty cool, though. It's just a random, comment selector. So, yeah, so we're going to do this coaching call. We'll probably run it. I know I said 15 minutes, but if it runs, 20 minutes, that's totally fine. And everybody else on YouTube will get to check this out, too. So you said you had some questions for me. What are they? Let's knock them out.
All right, first question. Isn't it better to sell stuff that makes more profit instead of just stuff that gives you a little bit of profit? Because I've had really great flips and really bad flips. One of my biggest flip was I bought an item for $100 and it sold for $500. And I've also had items that were very, let's say I bought an iPhone 6. I paid $10 for it and it sold it for $90.
Sure,
so,
okay.
I'm like, I should just stick to this niche and leave everything else because I'm still kind of freaked out to buy. I haven't bought any new, like, Galaxy X and the new ones that came out. I don't even know what XR. I haven't bought those. I haven't bought the 10s because it's such a big amount of money. And I guess that's where I need to grow.
Right. So you're asking, basically, should you stick to deals that offer more profit based on the investment? So are you working, so first to kind of, before I answer that question, are you working with a limited amount of capital?
That's another one. As soon as I get my money, I spend it. So it's like, I don't save it because I've never been a saver. Okay. And I used to, that book, that Rich Dad, Savers and Losers. So that really got ingrained in me. Like, I'm not saving my money. I'm going to spend it because I can get more. So.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, yeah. So I guess there's kind of two answers to the question. So in my opinion, if you're working with, say, $1,000 or $2,000, which really isn't a whole lot of money in this industry if you're starting to buy newer devices, but let's just say you're working with $1,000. I personally would recommend that you stick to the deals where you can buy something for $100 and sell it for $250 or $300. Just because you're working with a limited amount of capital. And so I think you should prioritize the deals that are going to give you the biggest return or ROI on your investment. Every time you buy a phone, it's like a little investment, which you're going to flip. So you're getting out of it really quick. But if you only have $1,000 capital, I think you really need to focus on the phones that are going to give you the biggest return on your cash investment. On the contrary, if you're working with $10,000 capital and capital isn't so much a problem for you, I think you should get every single deal that you can. And I don't think you should pass on any deal unless, you're not going to be making any money. And then a third answer to this question, if you've got unlimited capital and you've got 5 deals lined up that you're going to make $200 a phone, and then you've got 8 deals lined up where you're going to make $30 a phone or $50 a phone, I would always prioritize the deals where you're going to make the most cash based on your investment and your time. Does that kind of help
Uh,
out a little bit?
yes, it does. I didn't actually write my questions on the paper. I wrote them on my phone. So
Sure,
my
no, that's all
assistant.
right. Of course. And then capital. So that was, you said that was like another one of your questions. You're not
How
a
do you
big,
go with the capital? I'm not big on saving. As soon as I get the money, like I remember the first time I made $1,000 in a day. That was actually when I signed up for the course. That was actually how I paid for it. I was actually hyped. It was an iPhone 8, and it was Lenovo ThinkPad. So those were really good flips,
for
and
sure.
I was just shocked because it was just a little bit of money, and I made almost double to three times the money. And I was like, well, if I keep this up, I can make as much money as I want. But the only problem back then was the holes, which they're already gone by this point. So I don't even worry about that. That's why I even have more money coming in, because as soon as I sell something, you get the money on the spot.
For
So hold
sure.
on, the problem. Yeah.
So your
So that was
biggest
a whole lot.
problem is like you're not really having so much problems with leads, closing deals or anything, but you're
Mm-mm.
literally you're excited about the money. You're excited about the money to
Yeah.
the point where you're spending it as soon as you get it. So
Yeah.
my whole philosophy behind any business model has always been, so example, if you're going to buy, I got a phone sitting right here. So if you're going to buy this phone, this is a Galaxy, or not a Galaxy, this is a Moto E. Sorry, Galaxy. Geez, I don't deal with many Moto E, so I just picked it up and I saw shiny and I'm like, it's got to be an Android. But this is a Moto
Mm-hmm.
E. It's been sitting here. It's unlocked. Let's just say, for example, you paid $100 for this and you sell it for $250 and like your net is $220. So your net profit after expenses and everything is going to be $120. You paid 100 after fees and everything. You got 220 minus 100. So your net's 120. What I would do, because obviously you got to start saving and you're kind of having a problem with capital, which isn't a good thing. And also, if you have a problem with capital, you're probably missing some of these deals, aren't you? Like you probably get X
Mm-hmm.
amount of deals in a day. You probably can't even claim all the deals that are coming your way. And that's a
That
big
is
problem because
true.
that's costing you money. So think about it like that. If you're excited about the money and you like money, obviously you do. Think about every time you go to spend money that you're losing money because you're not storing any capital. And so going back to what I was saying, if you got $120 net off of this phone, I would split that net in half. I would take $60 and put that net as an investment back into your business along with the initial $100. So you spent $100 on this phone, you're putting 160 back into your business, and then the other 60, if you want to spend that, go have fun with it, you can do that, but at least with that kind of system, taking 50% of your net and putting it back in your business after every sale, you're going to slowly build up capital and you really won't even notice it because you're still getting your fun money too. And that way it's not so much of a, loss of, oh man, I just flipped this phone and I made $150 or $120 and I have to put it all back in my business. Do half and kind of basically wean yourself into that mindset of take the money from the net, put it back into your business, and then you get half the net of the profit and you get to take that and spend it or do whatever you want with it. Have you ever tried doing that?
Uh, in the beginning, I was doing that, but then once the profit started coming in like crazy, I'm like, I'm gonna spend it.
Okay. It's consistency. See, a lot of people think, there are some big secrets in running a business, being successful, but the biggest thing once you learn all those secrets and the habits and the mindset is being consistent. And I just think you got to get back on it. I know it's fun to spend money. I mean, we all do it. We've all done it before. We've all went and spent 100 or 500 or $1,000, and it's hard, but it's just kind of something you got to do and you got to think. And not to mention, like I said, the biggest thing is think every time that you're blowing all that profit from each phone, you're losing deals and you're losing, potential flips or potential money. Imagine if you get out of your capital, like let's say you run out of capital by the end of the day and you get 3 leads saying, hey, I've got, 3 iPhone X's or each customer's got an iPhone X and you
Mhm.
can't buy either one of them and you would have made another $600 at the end of the day, but because you spent the cash, you know what I mean? So kind of use that
Mhm.
painful thought to save the money. Like people change because of pain. So think of that pain of losing $600, not getting those deals, and help that to like save and motivate you and just to kind of be consistent with it.
Gotcha.
What other questions do you got?
I got. I've been branching out from phones and started selling other stuff because I didn't realize last year that I actually had a bunch of junk in my house to sell, and it didn't occur to me to sell it until when I started getting on leads, not leads, funds. I started thinking, well, what else can I sell on eBay? So I started branching out. I found a broken MacBook and I sold that, and I didn't even know it was worth money.
For
How do
sure.
you pick up video games? I haven't branched out to video games or cars because cars freak me out.
Okay. Yeah, so just to touch on that really quick, because video games, like I could probably go all night or, but when it comes to video games, basically same thing, post ads for them just like you do phone flipping ads, but obviously insert video game text and video game pictures. But the tricky thing about video games is sometimes people will lie and say that the video games work and they don't. So what you have to do with video games, one of the key things to meeting up with people with games is you need to go onto eBay or Amazon and you need to buy a couple used video game systems. And you need to meet them in public places like a McDonald's or a Starbucks that has an outlet. And you need to bring either a laptop or a small TV monitor. It's kind of a pain, but you need to test the video games before you
Right.
buy them, because you could have somebody come up to you with a stack of video games like this, and I've had somebody try to do it to me before, and they had a
Mm.
stack of like 20 games and about 8 of them didn't work. And so obviously I renegotiated on the price after that. I told them I didn't want these 8 games, and ended up being okay. But had I not have brought the little system and monitor with me and just plugged it in, and most McDonald's and Starbucks have little wall outlets just for anybody else watching this, do that, and then basically same thing, just appraise them as is. Go on eBay, check out the last 3 listings sold. Another thing to be careful of is video games is if you don't have much experience, be careful buying retro video games like NES, Super Nintendo, Sega Saturn, all that kind of stuff, just because of the fact that there are duplicates out there, especially on rare games that are worth more money. So that's kind of something you want to be careful of also. But as far as actually obtaining video games, same thing as phone flipping, post ads out there, network, print out flyers, business cards, and switch up your ads to video games and kind of just branch out that way.
Got it.
So
I got another one.
All right.
When you started out, did you have a job? Because I hear a lot of people out there that in the personal development industry. I actually stopped doing it, but I hear them say, "Quit your job and just focus all on the business." And I'm
Sure.
like, wouldn't it be better if you got a business and you got a little bit of money? Like in my case, I think it would be a great idea to have a part time, do this part time, and you get what I'm saying, just for the capital.
Yeah.
You start
So
out like that?
how I actually started out, I don't know if you've ever heard my actual backstory, but when I first flipped my very first phone, I was, I'm only 26, but I've been doing this
Mm.
about 7 years. When I first flipped my actual first phone, I think it was like 18 or 19. And I want to say that I want to say it was a construction job, some kind of labor job. And after I kind of started flipping a few phones, I kind of realized that, this is a legitimate business. And so kind of then after that, I kind of went down to part-time and started scaling it up. Now, where I first actually made it a real business was probably, I don't know, probably around 5 years ago. It was around like when the iPhone 6, or not iPhone 6, but iPhone 6S Plus was really popular. It was really expensive. And that's when I kind of just left everything and kind of started full time. I think that it's important if you're just starting out in this business. I don't think that you should just up and quit your job instantly. Although you could do that in the first month or two after buying the course if you really hustle and you save good and manage your money good and get into flipping other stuff also on top of phones. But I think that it's a good thing to hold on to your job, which is kind of that guaranteed income. It's guaranteed income because, you might have been at your job for a year or two, and test out how well phone flipping works for you before you completely give up your job. Obviously, the goal is to get people completely out of their jobs. That's what I do with my Phone Flipping Academy course, is get everybody away from their job, start being self-employed. But even to be able to go from full-time down to part-time and make extra income or more income than you were making full-time at your job while still having that part-time job income, that's also a blessing and a privilege too. So it kind of just depends on your comfort zone. I don't think that you should just, go crazy and just, oh yeah, I just bought a phone flipping course, I'm going to just drop off my job. I've been here 3 years. So I definitely didn't flip my first phone and then the next day after I went in and said, yeah, I'm quitting my job. I'm completely done. Screw you guys. I don't ever want a job here again. Definitely did not do that. But as it started building up, yeah, I left my job and everything, et cetera, that I used to do. I've worked in physical labor jobs, did a lot of that when I was like 16, 17, and 18. Not sure if you know this, but I was actually a high school dropout. I actually never finished. I never even finished 8th grade. I dropped out of 8th grade. That's why my story is kind of hard to remember, because I've been working since like age 15. So I dropped out of 8th grade, started working construction, actually did that for quite some time. And then as I got older, like I said, 17, 18, I kind of got more into sales things. I managed a caramel corn business that my father owned. I did all the sales at the local grocery stores, did the cooking, the marketing, the selling, whatever. But I kind of got into sales, and that's kind of when I started flipping electronics on the side when I was like 17 or 18. So like I said, about 7, 8 years ago. And then when I was 19, I worked in a lot of physical labor jobs like construction, oil field stuff, very rigorous, just very vigorous and straining jobs, but they paid really well. And then I came back home to Wisconsin, started flipping more, and it started turning full time. And that's kind of when I just dropped everything. So I've been doing it full time, for like 5, 6 years now, which is obviously, a blessing, but definitely don't leave that job right away, just because you want to make sure it works really well for your area and that you like doing it. Some people get annoyed with dealing with the customers. Some people don't like phone flipping. I mean, 90% of people do, but for some people it's just not for them. So
That's kind of hard to believe. I mean,
what?
that phone flipping is not for them. I mean, it's great. I'm surprised I never like took time to. I saw a couple of years ago some guy mentioned, he said he flipped some stuff around, but it occurred to me to do phones, but it never really, like, to this scale, like, it never occurred to me. What I would do before, I would fix them up, fix the phones, and then give it back to the customer, have personal customers. But then not to branch out like eBay or none of that.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, it's all about scaling, it's all about opening your mind up to new ideas. But yeah, I mean, I haven't gotten a lot of people that said I don't like flipping phones, but there's been, like 1 or 2 that are just like, oh, it doesn't work well in my area, or I don't like it. And it probably could have worked. It's just, I don't think they put their heart and soul into it. They didn't go through the entire course. So it kind of is what it is. Another thing that I wanted to bring up that we were going to talk about is, you are actually one of my phone flipping students. You're actually in my course. And I was just curious, when you took my course, where were you when you started? Where are you now? And how has it helped you? For anybody out there debating on signing up for my course, or, just actually starting phone flipping, what do you think of it all?
The main reason I signed up was because you're honest and you're transparent, and you actually do care about our success and what we're going through. You actually, like, I had a problem the other day of a guy trying to do fraud on me on a return, and you actually went and asked me, let me know how everything is going. Did everything get solved? I even had a question about the car. You actually like asked me, let me know how it goes. So you actually do care. I mostly signed up for that. As far as the material inside the course, so this is the most advanced course. I've been in other courses. That was unintentional.
Well, the truth comes
um,
out, right?
so I've been in other courses, and you have the advanced stuff. Um, I'm not allowed to say what it is, but for sure the leads, getting leads, like the magnet. I know you gave that away. That was hot. I even tried doing it, but you see the what is it called? The green box. I
The
see like
Eco ATM.
yeah. So it's very dangerous in my area. So, and the mall's not that busy, so it doesn't work for me. But there is another mall that's very far, but that I would get leads there, but that's 2 hour drive, so it's not worth it.
For sure.
What else? The negotiation tips. You actually do have the script. um, you know what I'm talking about. So that was really helpful. What else? The shirts. You also have to print out shirts in the marketing, which is big. I've heard other guys say you shouldn't do flyers. You should just stick to what works and stick to the ads online, and that's it. I think you should find out what type of ad works, and that's what you teach us. What else? Also, are we allowed to talk about what you can do with the iPhones, like the 3, or are we not allowed to? you have some advanced stuff to do with the iPhones. I'll put it that way. So
For
yeah,
sure.
yeah.
No, I appreciate the honesty and stuff, and just kind of wanted your feedback. You know, I figured I would ask you, being this is kind of a live call and everything. How were your sales when you first started, and how are they now since you like been through the course and everything?
They tripled. The only problem I had was because I had holds. So once the holds came in, I'm like, okay, so take a break. Once the money came in, take full action, and rinse and repeat. I actually took off around after I got a job around September. I thought I had it easy, so I'm like, I got the part-time thing, got the phones. I'm gonna take a break for the vacation September through December. So I took off those months, which were actually really busy because I did get leads from people from the past
Oh
that
yeah,
I had. Yeah, they came back out of nowhere. They say, "Oh, are you still buying phones?
you
Are you
can't say
still
no.
buying this?" Yeah, and they're like, "Do you also buy?" I had a guy tell me, "Do you buy watches?"
Oh yeah.
I'm like, I don't know about watches, but anything else. So I feel like we should learn more about other items because I've also had people bring me gold, but I don't know about gold. I've never worked as a pawn person, so.
In my
But yeah,
opinion, gold, watches, anything like that, anything that's really heavily towards the pawn industry,
mm-hmm,
stay clear of, because there's a
mm,
lot of fakes out there. There's so many people trying to dupe that industry because the gold and silver industry has been around forever. There's so many fake watches, knockoffs, etc. And
mm,
the crazy thing, I'll tell a quick story here. Speaking of how
mm,
well jewelry can be knocked off, I knew somebody once that had an insurance claim on a Rolex watch, and the Rolex was actually a $500, like a $600 fake. And I mean, it was like the most perfect fake ever. And the watch got damaged or broken or whatever, and it went through an insurance claim. And the person that I was told this story about, they took it to an actual jeweler, and the jeweler passed it as a real Rolex, and they got like $10,000 for it. So if there's counterfeits out there that can fake a legitimate jeweler, you don't want to be victim to one of those scams when it comes to fake jewelry, because if a jeweler, that's been doing it for years can get fake, we could get fake too. So I try and stay away
mm-hmm.
from expensive watches or jewelry. If it's like a $500 watch, you're probably not going to see too many fakes. But when it comes to like Rolexes and stuff like that, be careful because there's so much stuff out there that's duped. So, but yeah,
You
yeah,
kind of froze. You there?
yeah. I was just gonna say, that being said, we've kind of went up, I don't know, I think we're at like 20 minutes now. Any other
Hello.
questions that you had written down on your
Hello.
phone? Can you hear me
Oh
now?
yeah, I do. But you actually, yeah, it's all good. But I
Okay.
kind of froze.
Sure. Sorry about that.
I saw the replay of the live on the one you did about the when you handpicked the winner, and there was a bit of lag. I don't know if you saw the video. 2 times in, there was a lag on the video.
Yeah. Yeah, I noticed that.
Let me see. Oh, this one has been bothering me, but I don't know how you feel about this. But since we're being honest, how do you feel about more people coming into the phone flipping industry?
Okay. So more people coming in the phone flipping industry. Well, the good thing is there are always going to be more sellers than buyers, in my opinion, just because of the
Mm-hmm.
fact that literally when you walk into, say, a cafe, how many people do you see that have a smartphone in their hands? Almost every single one.
Mm-hmm.
So the good thing about this industry is it's ever growing. I mean, there's people out there now that weren't using smartphones 5 years ago, and as of today, they are. So I think smartphones are ever becoming more popular. So I don't think that there'll ever be too much competition. Now, what I do think is people out there that are trying to get started in this industry, it's going to be harder and harder for people to just freelance start. If you jump into a course like mine, I've been around for like 7 years, that really helps you get started in this industry with all the competition that there is out there now, just because you get all the knowledge at a really accelerated rate. And everything that I've been through in this business, in order to learn and know everything that I know without taking my course, you would literally have to start 7 years ago like I did, and every problem and scam and variable would have to happen to you in order to know what I know. So I don't think that it's a bad thing that more people are getting started, but what I do think is that people out there that are kind of like amateurs, they don't want to invest in knowledge or anything like that, I think it's going to be much
Mm-hmm.
harder for them. And I think people like us, people like you that are in paid courses or actually investing in their business and trying to kind of reinvent things, try new ideas, I think that it's actually going to highlight us because we are going to get more leads, more deals, because people out there that are trying to get in that, don't really have the experience or the knowledge, they're just going to be lowballing people. They're not going to know the negotiation tactics, and it's going to push those potential sellers back to us anyways. They might not want to deal with those people. So I don't really think new people coming in is really going to hurt anybody. And the new people that do succeed or do invest in themselves or buy a course and end up being just as skilled as any of us, I don't think that it's going to create much competition for us, because like I was saying earlier, this industry is huge and there are always going to be more sellers than there are buyers. Like I said, you walk into like Chipotle and just look at everybody sitting down at the table. They've got one hand, they've either got a burrito and a fork, and then the other hand, they're sitting there on their phone like this and just sitting there, they're either texting or they're just mindlessly scrolling through Facebook, right? So I don't think competition is going to be a big deal for this industry.
It kind of got to me when was it, like a couple of months ago, when I saw like more people coming in my area, because I'm in New York, by the way. So over here, I would say, from my experience, this is a tip for people. Depending on your area, there's pros and cons. But in my area, you don't even need to put ads. You can just walk around and ask people. You can get a name and a number and get people to sell you their stuff. I've had a couple people do that to me.
That's
but
crazy.
I haven't done the whole, because I don't want people to know, or maybe that's what I should work on. People to know what I'm doing, because it's like, well, what does he do? I've had people ask me, what does he do? But I do tell them, but, I don't want to be too known out there.
For sure. Yeah, I'd put yourself out there, brand yourself, start a business. If you're kind of always walking around like the guy that like avoids everyone, people are going to think you're doing some kind of shady business. But I mean, if you have a logo, you can even wear a shirt with your phone number on it that says I pay cash for phones. If you start being more transparent about it and kind of just throwing it out there, everybody's just going to be like, yeah, that's the phone guy. He just buys phones. So I wouldn't shelter yourself so much. The only thing that I would avoid being in New York City is I would avoid, don't try and carry too much cash on you at one time, because you could end up being robbed. I've seen that happen. But other than that, I don't see any problem with, actually turning it into a real business, branding it. Don't just be the, generic phone buying guy. Come up with a logo of business and get your name out there, because you know what? If you take this advice, your tripled sales might turn into doubled sales, and then you're going to be at 6 times the sales. So you might be doing, better than you ever had, especially if you're not already doing that. So, but yeah, that pretty much brings the call to, we're at like 33 minutes here. I think I was 5 minutes before you joined. Yeah, so that's okay though. It's a double long call, no big deal. That's usually how they go. But does that stuff kind of help you out a little bit and kind of give you some stuff to work on?
Yeah, definitely. I also have some tips of my own, but I guess that would be in another call. I could just give them to you and you get to share them out to everybody.
Yeah, definitely. I think I like that tip. Honestly, if you're in a bigger city, we might as well, I'll talk about that super quick. If you're in a bigger city and you have a lot of foot traffic, ask people if they have phones or electronics to sell. That's actually not a bad tip. It's kind of a bold tip. I mean, some people out there get social anxiety and they don't want to talk to random people, but if you got no problem talking to people, definitely give that a shot. That's not a bad idea. Or the t-shirt idea that you were talking about earlier that's in my course. Print out a t-shirt with your phone number that says I buy electronics or I buy smartphones. If you walk places and there's tons of foot traffic, like in New York, definitely a big one to get leads. So, but yeah, that pretty much concludes the coaching call. And yeah, congrats on winning, by the way. Take that you know what? Take that $100 since you don't like saving and go spend it and do whatever you want with it. And then the next phone you flip, make sure you save that money.
I was actually going to buy a phone with it.
Well, there you go. Even better. Turn the $100 into $200. So
awesome. I'll let you know what happened.
Yeah. Thanks for subscribing and everything. Thanks for commenting, and congratulations on being the winner. And
Thank you.
$100 in coaching. All right. Well, thanks. We'll see you later.
Bye. See you.
Bye-bye.